Okay, so I went through the first little box of papers. I've got a stack to shred. These are basically things that I'm keeping. These are actually office supplies that ended up in some of my papers. And this is the big bag of trash so far. And then I have categories for things that go into other rooms. Some of mementos and things like that got wrapped up into some of my paperwork too, so I'm going to be moving those to whenever I go through sentimental stuff. And then I have another category for things that belong to other people, which is basically the kids. Some of their paperwork got wrapped up into my paperwork. So one box is done, and now I've got to do the big old huge box of stuff. That one's going to take some time. To do all of this, it took about 2.5 hours to go through just this little box, so I know the big box is going to take a long time, but I'm off to do that. All right, everybody, this is that big old huge box. I can literally step in it today. It's taken 2 days of going through all of this. Actually, the first video I did, I didn't even do it. I procrastinated another day. So I started this yesterday, Saturday. Today is Sunday, and I have an empty box that I can literally sit in if I wanted to. So that's empty. The little box is empty. I've got a big old bag of things to shred. I got a big old bag of things to trash. There's one big old stack of papers I'm keeping that I'm going to sort through to categorize. And then I have big old 2 stacks of, actually most of this is just notebooks and things like that that I took trash and things out of. And then this is paperwork. And then this back here is just a bunch of school supplies and things that will go back in that I'll declutter when I get to the office supply section. So, and then I still have my piles that are going to go to other people and to the other rooms. I went from all of that to getting rid of all of this and all of that. So definitely was worth it to go through this process. And some of this stuff I may find that I don't need later too. So it's just some things I need to cross check and stuff like that. Mainly some bills that I'm not sure if I paid or not. I know, scary thought, right? But I need to go through it. And actually, I just realized I'm not done. I still have the file boxes. So I'll go through that next. Finally done. This is one of the file boxes. This was completely full, so I've got it about halfway now. And then the other file box, well, I guess that one's about 3/4. So, this is the big shred bag, and then I also have this little trash can full for shredded stuff. The trash bag, I already filled up one bag. This is there's just like a little bit in that bag. So, and then I've got piles of papers there to sort and file, and then this box here is now somewhat full with things to file too. So, and then these are the stacks for the kids. And then this is memory stuff. So we went through everything, finally done. It took, this is Monday, so it took a long weekend to get it finished, but we got it done. Hi everybody, I just wanted to show you all that I am officially done with all the papers and things. So these are shelves that have basically our action items here. They're little magazine files, just some cheap ones I picked up at Walmart for a couple bucks. So there's that. We got file boxes with some of our file things there. So this is one of them. Of course, it goes, collapses down. So a lot better than we used to be, and a lot lighter. And then this is our other file box here. So this one is some of our most commonly used items. So of course it's, has more in it, but there's still a lot of room there, still left in there. So a lot better off than we were when we first started this, that is for sure. So basically I've condensed those big old huge boxes down to just this manageable amount here. Some of this is obviously things that need to be looked at on a normal basis, so but it's not necessarily things we need to have all the time. Of course, you have to be responsible and keep the number of years of taxes and things like that and all of that kind of stuff. So but I'm very pleased with the results of this and everything, and I've learned quite a bit of things as well, which I'm going to talk about here in a minute. So I finished all the papers I just showed you in the last little segment there of the papers being done, what we have left, what my action things are, and things like that. But I wanted to share a couple of things that I thought of as I went through this process, and what came out of it after the process. So first things first, after I was done, I just felt this big sigh of relief. This was something I was putting off. I knew it was going to be one of my hardest categories to go through just because I don't throw things away. I don't know why, but I don't. So I guess whenever KonMari was talking about there's two different types of people, those that can't put it away and those that can't throw it away, and then both. I'm both, but I feel like I lean more towards can't throw it away. Especially in the paper category. I had a lot of papers that I was like, well, what if I need this one day? That kind of thing. And just finally let go of some of those things. I got rid of, for the shred bags, whenever everything was shredded, it was 2.5 bags of shredded paper. It's ridiculous. And I already showed y'all before how much trash I'd gotten rid of. That was just straight up trash that just needed to go. Looking around my house now since I've purged, because it's been a couple of days since I've done all that, I've noticed that I have more space in my house. Just from getting rid of the paper in the house, everything feels more open now. So I'm starting to really see a difference using this KonMari method now. Didn't notice it as much with clothing, except for the fact that, most of my stuff gets folded now. So my closet isn't as cluttered, or, like filled up, but my drawers are filled up now, which before it was the other way around. So to me, I just felt like I was just redistributing that stuff. So to me, it wasn't a big difference, whereas this paper, it has freed up a lot of space in the house. And so I'm seeing empty surfaces and things like that. So not only have I gone through everything, I've maintained it since I did the purge, and that was a big deal. That's one of the things I've kind of noticed as I've gone along, is as I've cleaned up stuff, I don't go back to my old ways because I know what it means to go through that stuff again, and I really don't want to do it. So because that, it's like teaching me little piece by little piece on how to maintain those areas, which is nice because it was something I feel like I've never learned before. And I never would have known had it, had you not gone by each topic area, basically. So my clothing is still well kept up. The books still well kept up. I'm putting things back in their places now, I've noticed, because I'm more mindful of those areas. Another thing is, as I went through some of the papers, some of the stuff I have not seen, which was very interesting. We have a secretary's desk that used to be like the main desk in the house. We started using my desk that I work with, that I work on because I was there a lot, as the place to put papers. But in that transition, some of the stuff still got put in the secretary's desk, and we never saw it. So I had a bunch of unopened mail I had to go through, which was really weird. So we went through the unopened mail, and from that, a lot of things started to make sense. We had some chains of events that have happened that we just thought, man, we just have like the worst luck. I don't understand what's going on with this, that, or the other. I'm not going to get into specifics. But I went through some of this unopened mail that was in there, and it explained why things happened. And so it's like, okay, now everything makes sense. Now I understand why this happened. Now I understand why that happened. It wasn't bad luck. It was just we didn't open up the original letter about something, and then it progressed, basically. So missing pieces of the puzzles now make sense. And also it gave me peace of mind. One of the things that was good that came out of this, we have a lot of old medical bills that we haven't paid. Do I believe in not paying medical bills? No. I think you need to be doing that by all means. But we had a really rough time financially starting over. I was starting over with my kids. He was starting over with his kids. And because of that, we had to do a lot of rebuilding of our families. And so some of the things went by the wayside, one of which was medical bills. So we had a lot of them piled up. Just as they kept coming in, I kept putting them together and stuff. I got confused on what I've paid and what I hadn't paid and everything like that. I went through everything, matched things up, went online and looked up some of the accounts to see if they'd been paid or not. And I found that more of them had been paid than I had thought. So that gave me peace of mind knowing we don't owe as much as we thought we did, which is so thankful for that. But we still have some bills we have to go through, and now I know where we stand on everything, and I know who to pay and who has this bill now, because a lot of these have gone to collection agencies. Well, when they go to collections, sometimes they get resold to other collection agencies and things like that, and it gets a little difficult to find. So I've tracked down most of them. There is one medical bill that I had been paying on for my son that I still can't figure out who in the world has it. So I've kept that bill in case it comes back. And then I'll know immediately, let me pay this because I do owe it. I think there's 2 bills that are like that I can't figure out who I'm supposed to pay now. So I held on to that in case we get something else in the mail regarding it. And everything else I'm paying lowest to highest on balance, and we'll sort it out then. So I have peace of mind with that, and also that goes into the other thought process of action items and action plans and things like that. So there were some papers and things of things that I need to do. So I have each one in those little magazine files I showed you before. So I have one for things I need to do, one for things my husband needs to do, and then one for things our kids need to do. Which is what KonMari says, is to have one for each person, but we have so many kids, and the kids don't have that many action items. Most of their stuff they keep with them. But there were a couple of things I found, and so I put in their own little magazine rack. So now we know what we need to get done, which was a lot less than I thought we had to do. So that part was nice too. So again, I was dreading doing this section and going through all of this, but now that I have, I feel such a sigh of relief. Things weren't as bad as I thought they were. And I think that's why I've been putting off going through it, is because I thought, oh my gosh, we're going to owe all this money, or oh my gosh, we're going to have all these things that we have to do and everything like that. And so because of that, I was putting it off. All in all, it took me about 2 weeks to do everything. Of course, that's not working constantly on it, because work's been insanely crazy right now. So it's just been when I've had free time, I've worked on it and things like that. So it hadn't been a whole solid 2 weeks straight that I worked on it, but it took about 2 weeks in all, as far as total time from beginning to end that it took to go through everything. But as far as like the purging process, where I actually like went through everything and was physically, purging it actively, that took 3 days. I did it over a 3-day weekend. It was Martin Luther King's weekend. We have that Monday off at work, so I thought, hey, this would be the perfect time to go through all of that. And then I still had all the bills I had to go through and match up, so I did that last week. And got all that sorted out, and from there I knew I was done, because that was the last piece I needed to do, which gave me more things to shred, which gave me the half bag. So it was very nice to go through it all. I'm glad that it's done, and I'm maintaining the paper process now as it comes in. I'm checking the mail, and as I'm checking the mail, I put everything in either a trash bucket, a shred bucket, or a file bucket, and I'm going through those once a week to do those different actions on it, and that's what I'm going to maintain going forward. So that way it keeps me accountable to it. It won't get piled up, and it has its own little place in the meantime. Because sometimes I can't just shred things immediately. It's kind of a process because we keep our shredder out of the way so Xander doesn't get it. It does have safety precautions on it, like you have to have a special little plastic thing that has to go into it to make it work, but I'm still paranoid of it. So I keep it put away, and so that's what I mean by I have to put it all together, and then in a week I shred all those items at once. So anyway, those are some of my thoughts on the paper process. I think it was by far the hardest one, which I thought was weird. At least so far it was the hardest one. Clothing, I found that I held on to a lot of things that I shouldn't have held on to, that were not making me happy. But it was still an easy process. It was just, does this make me happy? If not, why? Papers was more, and it goes into this in KonMari's second book, that sometimes it's not that it makes you happy, but you need to hold on to it, like tax files and things like that. You have to hold on to those for at least 7 years, and things like that. So it's not things I want to hold on to, but I'm required to hold on to for now. But I did get rid of a lot of things that we didn't need to hold on to that we were. So, like I said, both of those file boxes were filled completely where I couldn't even put anything else in them. And now they have room to breathe, which is nice because now I know if I need to add anything else to it, then I can, which we will be adding to some of our papers here soon. We just got a new camper yesterday, so we'll be adding that to the file of papers. And you know what's good is I have the title to the old camper. It was in the paperwork, because we're trading in our old one for a new one. So there you go. So that's where we're at right now. I just wanted to give you all an update now that I'm done and tell you what all I learned from the process, because I know some of y'all are just like, papers is papers is papers. It's not that big a deal. But I did gain some insight out of it, is what I'm trying to say. And it was a long process, one I wasn't looking forward to, but now that I have, it's just such a sigh of relief. I'm done with that. And now I gotta look up what the next thing is to declutter, but we will go through that next. I'm not sure what it is. I know it's the kimono section, which is miscellaneous items, but I don't know where I'm going to start with the miscellaneous items, but I will keep you all posted for my next video, and we will go from there. So I hope everybody's having a good time decluttering their house. For those that are following along with me, let me know how your paper declutter went. I'm sorry it took so long to get this up, but I warned y'all that it was the one I was regretting or dreading the most, so it doesn't surprise me that it was the one that took the longest. From here, I should be able to post more regular videos because the kimono sections, most of the things aren't going to be huge amounts of things. Probably when I get to my eBay section, that's going to be the thing that takes a long time. But other than that, everything's pretty small. It shouldn't take long to go through, kind of like my book section and things like that. Because I'm going to divide it up into little chunks to do along the way. So that way I have a bunch of little videos to show you all. And we will go from there. So I will talk to you all later. Have fun going through the KonMari process. I hope everything's going well for you all. And thank you for watching. Bye.